You know, with how people were talking about Dandadan before it came out, I did expect it to be good. And boy did it blow my expectations right out the water. This video will have spoilers, some of them, but it's written as a sort of recommendation for people who want to know what they're getting into before they get into it. If you're one of those people, you know I'm talking about you. As one of the series that has people questioning why we're still calling decade-old manga new gen, not many people are familiar with what we would be getting out of the Dandadan anime, outside of some weird out-of-context images and panels that raised eyebrows. But when you actually get down to it, the series is actually pretty good. It's the story of two high school kids, Okarun, who's obsessed with aliens, and Ayase, the granddaughter of a spirit medium who believes in ghosts. They meet, they talk, and hilariously, they immediately think the thing the other believes in is ridiculous. And so they dare each other to go to hotspots for the other's thing. And, well...
I'll let you suckle my teats, boy. If you let me gobble your dung.
Things got weird.
We shall have intercourse with you, after which we will extract your uterus along with your bananas for research purposes.
Very weird. And so we begin the adventure as the two stumble into a world that's a mix of sci-fi and fantasy with brand new powers as they begin the quest to retrieve Okarun's sexual organs. Yes. The immediate thing that stands out if you watch the anime is the animation. Safe to say, they cooked. The use of colors is especially ingenious as it sets the scene for the battles the main characters fight and is often used to visually communicate things to the viewers. Take the first action scene that we get out of the first episode. We see Turbo Granny's spirit invading the alien spaceship and introducing red light to the blue setting in a very creative and diegetic way. It starts with the light from the phone, then as the red tinged spirit runs amok and damages the tech, the light stabilizes once she completely possesses Okarun's body, now in red. And when the aliens defeat her, they damage the light again, turning it off and returning the blue of their ship, symbolizing their victory. And all of this is completely overshadowed by Ayase unlocking her psychic powers, which shadow reality into a beautiful sparkling green as she becomes the dominant force in the area. And once all supernatural forces are removed and the UFO begins to collapse, it all turns grey. Sai Saru are the people behind the Scott Pilgrim anime and Devilman Crybaby, and between them and several directors, particularly Fuga Yamashiro, this anime is just amazing to look at. On top of that, we have the characters. Okarun, the shy bullied kid who's got a brave heart buried deep within his insecurities, and Ayase, the outgoing girl balancing being weird with navigating her social relationships. These two may seem like polar opposites, but frankly, they have a lot in common as a lot of the anime is dependent on their banter, which shows just how similar their thought process is. Really, the biggest difference is that Ayase is confident and better at talking to other people despite frankly having a background that would probably classify her as more of an outcast than Okarun. And it's only like 30% because she's a pretty girl. There's a whole sequence of the two looking for each other where they wind up doing the exact same things and going to the exact same places. It's uncanny. Like looking in a mirror and then walking into it. Speaking of Ayase, so far she's frankly the more entertaining character of the two and the one I would point to as the main character if I had to pick. While both protagonists enhance each other with their interactions, Ayase seems more capable of pulling entertaining interactions out of other characters because of her willingness to impose her personality into the situation. Though that might be because all the other characters are more related to her side of the story than her fellow main character. Okarun's only major interactions with characters that would be considered more related to him was him threatening them, and honestly that was pretty good. Ayase is just more fun and less generic in a medium known for antisocial male protagonists, though Okarun is that trope done effectively. This anime is a romance after all, so it wouldn't do for only one character to be doing the heavy lifting. Okarun is understanding and similar to Ayase in a way she's clearly missing from her regular friend group and her horrible ex-boyfriend. He isn't the tough guy of her dreams, but he's someone she can rely on to do right by her. And when it comes to their battles, they both fulfill very different roles. Okarun is the fast, hard-hitting one whose power has to be used sparingly because of their toll, while Ayase has her psychic abilities for support and is the brains of the operations. Also, she can take a hit like a champ. I gotta admit, I do like the aspect of Ayase thinking tactically in order to help them win their battles. Frankly, watching some of the scenes, I feel like Giorno Giovanna's theme is the only thing that's missing.
I will eat you up! What is going on here? Why can't I move any further?
Didn't you say your acrobatics grab onto anything and everything? Thanks to that super ratty hair you're rocking. You're all tangled up in everything you grabbed onto.
Seriously though, at least one of the things she does straight up feels like it could be a scene in Golden Wind. Combined with the amazing direction, imagery, and even soundtrack, my confusion when Overture mixed with Can started playing was well earned. The action scenes in this anime are all great spectacles. The other characters are no less fun for what they are. Seiko's fun, though frankly she's not that different from what you'd expect from her archetype. Turbo Granny is unexpectedly deep and unexpectedly hilarious. Even Aira, for how much of a bitch she is when she's introduced, is a joy to watch in her commitment to her delusions. The OP and ED are also great. The OP is impressively stylized and exciting in a way that I'm not equipped to explain, so despite my last video's topic, I'm gonna have to tell you, go check out Mother's Basement What's in an OP video. And the ED is pretty surreal, but it's fun. However, as crazy as the anime is, it does go into the subject of death and the resentment necessary to keep evil spirits in the story with appropriate severity. And while that's hinted at with Turbo Granny and the giant crab, the tragedy of Acro Silky has been the most impactful part of the show so far. In a scene with very little dialogue, we get to see the emotional life and death of an aspiring ballerina who tried her best with her daughter, only for everything to go so wrong. It's treated with the artistry and weight it deserves, with the story communicating a lot with what it gives us, from the casual insertion of the ballet aspect of her life to the connection to Aira, who is forced to take the situation far more seriously as a result of what's happening, and the connection that's unexpectedly formed between her and the spirit. It might very well be the best animated part of the show so far, and I've never felt so unsettled by a single sound. Anime has this ability to introduce just wild and hilarious concepts and connect them to real emotions in a way that feels both melodramatic and realistic, and this is no exception. I really have no words to describe it besides perfect. We're only 7 episodes in as I write this script, and something tells me that before the season ends, Dandadan will do something else to blow our minds, the same way my mind was blown when someone actually subscribed to my Patreon. Shout out to A. If you haven't seen Dandadan yet, my recommendation is that you scroll down and hit the like button, comment your thoughts, subscribe for more content, and then go watch it immediately. If you've liked anything I've said so far, I guarantee you won't regret it. Thank you, and good day.